In the final years of the Marvel icon Stan Lee, John Bolerjack has been following him with the camera everywhere he went, from comic book conventions to movie premieres, just to capture all the charming and exciting moments of the legend and all his conversations. But more than that, Bolerjack's camera also captured bad behavior within Lee's inner circle. So during those few years, John has been collecting footage to put it into the documentary called Stan Lee: The Final Years. And it has just been announced with a trailer and a Kickstarter campaign in order for John to be able to complete his work. Now I want to talk about the trailer itself, about the campaign and other moments that has been released since the release of the trailer. So the trailer of the documentary about Stan Lee mostly depicts the basically exploitation of the Marvel icon, allegedly. Currently, I personally feel a lot of not good emotions towards the stuff that has been released, but let's leave it for the end of the video. Right now, let's jump into the teaser of the documentary and discuss it a little bit.
My name is John Bolerjack, and for the last 4 years of Stan Lee's life, I was his assistant, his confidant, but most importantly, his friend. Stan spent his final years enduring mistreatment, manipulation, and betrayal at the hands of a few very bad actors.
Is there any way to get us out of that San Francisco thing? Or do you feel we gotta do it?
Gotta do it.
So the teaser mostly depicts the bad moment happening to Stan Lee, like people from his inner circle basically exploiting him and pushing him to do stuff that he didn't feel like doing or he's been too exhausted to do.
At the time, I didn't have the power to stop it, but I did have a camera and I filmed everything.
Whoa, watch out!
Here, John Bolerjack basically confirms that he couldn't do anything about the stuff happening to Lee at the time. However, also he mentions that he has footage of this stuff happening to Lee, which is already a little bit off-putting to say the least, because if he had evidence, he had power in his hands to at least try to do something about it. And the first question that comes to mind is, why wait so long?
This documentary includes first-hand accounts from key witnesses, including comic book legends like Rob Liefeld and Roy Thomas, as well as many others who saw the chaos and unethical acts.
Chaos and unethical acts. But he needs a lot of money to release the evidence. Obviously, we don't know all the stuff happening behind the curtain, but at the same time, why holding it and not saying anything about the bad stuff happening to a person that is still around, and only releasing it after Lee passed away? I don't know about you, but to me, this whole situation feels sketchy. But let me show you a few more moments and then we discuss it more.
With your help, we can finish the film, expose the truth, and give Stan the justice he deserves.
I really don't understand how a person could be putting himself out as a hero, as a savior, even though that person was holding the evidence, basically, that could be used as of help for at least attempting to help Stan Lee. But my personal strong emotions mostly come from the fact of posthumous release. Every time I see this stuff happening and I see it on the internet, it makes me feel like the exploitation of a person that just passed away. That person can say no more, and you releasing this stuff in attempt to help, isn't it already late? And you collecting money in order to release the evidence, I don't understand the audacity to tease people with evidence you withheld for so many years. I don't get it. I truly don't understand how this could be normal to people. This just makes me sad. How do we not know that people who've been behaving poorly towards Stan Lee are now taking advantage of him even more just by finding strings to attach to John Bolerjack? There is another video surfaced on Twitter. First clip of Stan Lee: The Final Chapter. New documentary detailing Stan Lee's final years being exploited by former business partners allegedly. There's basically only one moment I wanted to show you. It's at the end of the video. Here.
You get your money's worth out of me.
Every single penny.
Penny, like 5 pennies.
Stan Lee says to the person standing next to him, "You get all the money worth out of me." And the person replies, "Every single penny," which is already making you sad because you understand that there are no emotions involved, it's just purely monetary. And then there is voice behind from the camera. Apparently it was John Bolerjack, if I understood it correctly, because here in the video you can see him on the left. I assume it's him, and he continues just by adding 5 pennies to Stan Lee's face. Isn't this a little bit rude? Aren't you doing the same stuff that you were gonna talk about in the documentary? I'm assuming, of course, I haven't watched the whole documentary yet, but isn't taking no action also an action? So in general, all that can be said about the teaser and this documentary is that it's gonna be very sad. It's gonna be heartbreaking to watch. Now I wanted to share a little bit of my thoughts about the whole situation and about this whole posthumous release stuff. Here's how I see it. If a celebrity has been producing stuff, let's say musician, has been making music during his or her whole life and not releasing certain music, but then after the unfortunate event of that celebrity passing away, the stuff that this person was not releasing during his or her whole life is being released now. It's been done many times, we've been witnessing this stuff many times, and I still cannot understand this. Of course, there is some stuff that this person would be wishing to release posthumously, but when it's being pushed so intensively, it stops making sense. Another moment is that this documentary is presented as a heroic act, and then all of a sudden this heroic act needs better production, better CGI, better music production and all that stuff. Have you ever seen other videos that has been considered as evidence and proved as evidence even though it was 240p? Like, you barely can see stuff happening through pixels. There is no voiceover CGI, there is no music production in that video, but it still is considered as evidence. And you always hanging around with a good quality camera knowing that this stuff is bad, that this is basically elder abuse, still don't consider it as an evidence and as a heroic act to put it out there to help the person that you feel a strong connection with? I might be wrong, I might be not seeing some stuff, but this doesn't make sense to me personally. And as I already mentioned, I never feel good about the stuff being released posthumously because it never feels sincere. And again, let me know in the comments your thoughts about the whole situation and how do you feel about the documentary. And this is all I really wanted to discuss today, so see ya.